Welcome to the Couchboard podcast, where we naively talk about anything and everything for your listening pleasure. I'm Jordan, and as always, I have with me Colby and Max. How are you guys doing today?
Fantastic.
What up?
Excellent. What's going on? What's going on in your lives?
This coming Monday is the finale of The Bachelor Listen to Your Heart. My sister-in-law Bree is in the finals. Pretty exciting.
Hot day, diggity dog. So I didn't watch last night, but the week before, they were down to 4 couples, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I think they take 3 couples into the finals.
Correct. I did watch last night's episode.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
I have to catch up, for sure. No, it's exciting. So
it's getting a little bit more. I mean, it is what it is. Unfortunately, a lot of the lame, trashy people that kept the show interesting are gone. So now it's just becoming more of a
real singers, less drama.
Yeah, people that are actually falling in love.
Ridiculous.
I'm only in this to watch sadness and tears. I've been watching The Last Dance. I don't know if you guys have been watching that.
I need to.
It's
the ESPN Michael Jordan. No,
yeah.
I started the first episode. Didn't get past the
really.
First.
You didn't get into it in the first episode?
No. I really liked it. I just
okay.
Something came up. I had to do something else, so I didn't get to finish. But no, I intend to watch it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I knew I was going to like it, but I'm one of those annoying people where I think like anytime like everyone gets like super on board with something and hyped it up, I'm like, well, how good can it really be? But I think it actually is quite good. It's funny though to me because 98, so I would have been like 10 years old back then, and it's just funny to understand all of this background that was going on behind the scenes, because as like a 10-year-old kid, all I knew or cared about was like Michael Jordan is amazing and he's super fun to watch.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, and it's also interesting, like I have memories of watching Michael Jordan a lot as a kid, but like I don't really remember exactly how things unfolded in his career, and so it's been fun to see how everything kind of came together and happened. So
yeah,
I just remember watching him in all those finals games, just like staring intently at the screen, waiting for the next Michael Jordan highlight. And then, you'd be like the and one guy. Oh,
yeah.
Anytime he'd do like really anything.
Well, I only remember, like I remember when I was a kid, I only really remember, as far as finals appearances go, I only remember the Jazz. I don't remember really anything.
Yeah, well, it was 2 years in a row against the Jazz, right?
Right.
Yeah, those 2 years I watched a lot. They were fun.
That's when I watched them. When I look back and I think, oh yeah, the Bulls won 6 times. I feel like they were always against the Jazz, but it's really just the 2 years.
Yeah, there's just quite a but those were like the 2 like last epic years. But I mean, I think the thing that's everyone knows Michael Jordan is like a ferocious competitor and just like one of the most, like, he'll do anything to get a win. But it's interesting to see in this documentary like how that came out in other parts of his life. Like one of my favorite things that has shown up so far is like when they were on the plane going to games, they would play cards, and like he would be in the back with like the higher rolling guys, and they would be paying, they would be putting a lot of money down on big hands, and there was other guys in the front of the plane that were playing blackjack with $1 hands. And so after like Michael had like finished with the guys in the back, like he came up to the front and like wanted to play with them, and they're like, dude, Michael, we're playing for like $1 hands, like why do you want to play with us? And he's like, because I want to know that I went home with your money in my pocket. And I'm just like, okay, like let's just chill for a second. But
I remember his Hall of Fame speech, like he's just an intense personality, like just kind of like stone face in a lot of things, but like he's laughing to himself at the same time. But like, he's, I don't know, intense. He is intense. That's a good way to say it.
He is. I finished reading White Sands, the book I was reading, and I started reading The Martian, which I've never read.
Oh, I love The Martian. Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, unfortunately I didn't wait, but
I think the movie was kind of ruined for. I mean, I hate to be that annoying person. The book is better than the movie, but I had just finished reading the book before.
Somehow I'm able to block out like I don't see Matt Damon while I'm reading, which is a good thing. So
because Matt Damon just in my opinion didn't portray that character well. I don't really think Matt Damon's funny, and I think the character in that book is really funny.
I don't really think you're funny, Max.
I don't think I'm
sick burn, dude.
Ouch.
I haven't read the book. The movie is fine. I don't know. It was funny at times, right, with the potatoes and stuff.
It was an entertaining movie. I watch any space movie, so I enjoyed it for being a space movie.
I mean, I'd say it's
but I'm looking forward.
Sorry, for the movie, I would say it's probably as funny as it can be for it just having one person in it, you know?
No, that's a good point. Well, what's hard about the book is like you get in like it's a lot of him just like thinking. I don't know how far into it you are, Colby, but like he's just like kind of sarcastic, and a lot of it's like him writing to himself. I can't really remember. It's just hard for that to come across in a movie well.
That's like the hardest part of adapting books to film, right? Is you miss out on all of the internal thought that the characters have, and in a movie with essentially one character, you miss out on a ton. Then Yeah. So, anyway, I'm only a couple pages in. It's really good. I'm looking forward to getting really farther into it. Yeah.
And the movie, and that's the funny thing about the movie is like the movie actually does follow the book pretty darn closely. I mean, obviously they chopped out a couple things to make it into a movie, with the exception of the end. They made the end really stupid in the movie, but I think you'll really enjoy it. It'll be fun. I am almost done with Final Fantasy VII Remake, by the way. So
nice.
I've been plugging away at it every weekend for how long has it been now? Probably like 6 weeks or so. So
wait, is this just the first installment, or have they released it all?
It's interesting because because I recently started replaying the original on my Switch, and it took me. I think maybe I'm wrong on the time, but I could have sworn it took me 3 hours. I remember like checking my time. It took me 3 hours to get to where this first installment ends. And I don't know how many hours I've sunk into this game so far, but I would guess probably like in the 20s at this point. It doesn't feel like it's like artificially dragged out, but the one thing that I really don't like about it is there's like a bunch of really bad RPG cliches in it. Like there's like these side quests where it's like, go fetch me this thing and bring it back to me, or go over here and kill 5 monsters, or I don't know. It's just like those things are just like I don't understand why people put stuff like that in games. Like, does anyone actually really enjoy just like going out and just doing random fetch quests? I could get it
for like the first, couple levels, so to speak, as your character's young and inexperienced, or I don't know if that's how Final Fantasy
teaching you the ropes kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. But once you're level 80, so to speak, it's like, come on. I could do this blindfolded. Why do you make me do it?
Yeah, it's just I'm not making this up. Like over the weekend I was finishing the last batch of side quests before I went to like go to like the last chunk of the game, and I, no joke, was roaming around this city trying to find CDs to put into a jukebox to cheer people up. And there was 3 sad people by this jukebox, and I had to go find 3 different CDs I'm just like, well, and it's just like, it feels weird. Like it doesn't match the tone of the rest of the game. Like, what is this?
Is it a necessary quest, or is it like a side quest?
It's a side quest.
Okay. That's good, at least.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, you miss out on stuff if you don't do the side quest.
Yeah.
And
I remember, and that's like in games today, like that happens in Skyrim, where you're like level 80 and somebody says, can you go get a fern plant for me? And you're just like, I could just kill you right now and you wouldn't need it anymore.
Well, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that was one thing in like the new Zelda game kind of avoid. I mean, I remember there being like lots of side quests. I don't know. I just don't remember it being as.
I think there were just so many side quests. I never found them all, but I think there were silly fetch quests that you could do. I just never took the time to find them.
That's a good point.
Anyway,
I watched Parasite.
What'd you think?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was just a lot. It was like put it in a bit of perspective. So I watched it with my wife when we watched, I don't know, 1917 a week or two ago. And like that was
I love 1917. Don't you dare say anything bad about that movie.
No, I liked it. It was fine. It wasn't as fantastic. I didn't see it in theaters, but it wasn't as fantastic as everyone said, in my opinion.
You'd hoped.
Yeah. But that, given that it's a war movie and it's pretty intense, like that had my wife on edge. Just, kind of like making her like anxious, right, watching it. But then I started to watch Parasite just on my own, and I was just like I was like overwhelmed, like what is happening here in this movie? Like it's ridiculous. So I really liked it. Like it was like a thriller in a way, and I don't know. I had no idea what it was about because it's kind of hard to explain to someone without starting to give it away. And
right.
And so then Melissa came in as I was watching it, and she was like, well, I don't know if I want to watch it. Like, what's the preview? And I was like, I don't know if I should show her the preview because I don't know how much it's going to give away. And
right.
luckily, the preview was nothing like the movie. So she agreed to watch it. And anyway, it pretty good. It was definitely an Oscar winner for sure. So,
you
don't think so?
I thought it was good. Don't get me wrong. Like I didn't think it was a bad movie. I just didn't. And I think your experience is very similar to everyone else. And I don't know. I watched it fairly soon after like the Oscars happened, so like there was a lot of buzz around it. And don't get me wrong. Like I was definitely interested. I was on the edge of my seat. I just think the last chapter of that movie just got a little too out there for me and just like a little too ridiculous, and I just kind of was like, this is kind of stupid now. But to each their own.
No, I'll say the last part there's one part at the very end where I'm just like, why did that have to happen? Like, yeah. But it was good. It was definitely an unexpected kind of movie out of nowhere, right? That was pretty well received. Though dark.
It was very
though
I need to see it.
It's dark in a lot of ways, but it's also just kind of
funny in a lot of ways too.
Metaphorical.
And there's like a lot of like social commentary, which again, I thought the social commentary part was actually pretty well handled. Like I usually kind of like groan when Hollywood gets like too heavy-handed with stuff like that, but I actually thought it was kind of done in a thoughtful way. I think I'm just the opposite of you. I think if I had to vote, I would give 1917 the Oscar nod over Parasite all day, every day. But that's just me. Real quick, the movie I saw this weekend, I saw Clue for my first time. So
I love that movie.
Yeah, it was kind of Tim Curry.
You've never seen Clue? I watched that like every Halloween.
Yeah, I've never seen it before. So
one of Tim Curry's best, I think.
It was weird. Yeah. The only thing I wish they would have done differently is maybe like leaned in a little bit more into like the stereotypes of the characters and like how I think of them in Clue. Like it's like, come on, how is Miss Scarlet not wearing a red dress? Or how is like I don't know, Colonel Mustard not wearing something more yellow? But whatever.
Yeah, they definitely should have done it how you wanted it done.
It would have been better.
I've never seen it either.
You've never seen Clue? What is wrong with you people?
I played the game a
lot.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Yeah, it was
1985.
In some ways, it hasn't aged well though, Jordan. So just be warned. But it's
a little slapsticky.
Yeah, it's very slapsticky, which is fine. I just think it actually has a lot of similarities to what was the movie that you really liked, Jordan, that we were talking about a couple weeks ago?
Almost Heroes.
Almost Heroes.
No, not Almost
Jinx.
Heroes.
Airplane.
No, the new Rian Johnson movie.
Knives Out.
Knives Out. There's like kind of some. It's like whodunit kind of.
Yeah.
Obviously, Clue. So, but
it's kind of a parody of a whodunit. But
yes, it's definitely so.
I'll watch it one of these days. I honestly didn't know it was a movie, so.
What? You didn't know that was a movie? I mean, at least I feel like I always knew that.
In both of you.
I'll add it to the list. All right.
All right, Jordan, get us on track.
Well, yeah.
After 20 minutes of rambling.
Hey, that's good stuff. Good.
Yeah.
Good commentary. All right. So tonight, the topic, food and stuff. Yeah. So I divided this up into kind of two categories. The first is our classy conversation about food, and the second is our trashy conversation about food, and you'll see what that means. But basically, let's start off talking about food. So where I want us to go is kind of what we grew up with in our lives. You know, when we were children, when we were kids. You know, what did your parents cook? Your mom cook? You cook even as a kid, or and how your taste has matured so far. Who wants to start off there with what your background is on food?
I'll start.
Go for it.
So, I was born and raised in Southern California and Southern Arizona. So, mostly American and Mexican food is where I'm at. You know, my mom grew up in Nevada and Utah, so she's got some classic American recipes, and then the Mexican influence being in Southern California and Southern Arizona. That's my heritage.
So would your mom cook?
Kind of, I feel like standard. Like if you picture, like, remember the show The Wonder Years, Fred Savage? Like whatever his mom cooked, that's like what my mom cooked.
Yeah.
Like classic 60s suburban mother food.
Nice. Max, what would you say you grew up with?
I would say it's probably pretty similar to Colby's. You know, growing up in Arizona as well. Both my parents are from New Mexico, so I would definitely say like Southwestern food is what I grew up liking. I mean, I think, well, the funny thing is, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I feel like as a kid growing up, like we like never went out to eat, and maybe not never, but like it was like a pretty big deal if the family jumped in the car and went out.
Yeah.
Special occasion.
Yeah, exactly. There was like some kind of like occasion. Like it wasn't. Whereas like now, I feel like sometimes my wife and I were like, we're feeling lazy. We're gonna just like go order food or something. Which, but the funny thing there is, I mean, like your taste of food or like the cuisine you're exposed to is like extremely limited. Like I remember, you know, like heading off to college and like trying like different foods and like trying to be hip and trendy and know more, because like really didn't know much growing up outside of what my mom cooked for us. But then I also, you know, to your question of like growing up, like what was like, I feel like I spent like a pretty good amount of time like helping my mom cook. And then when I was in high school and middle school, my mom went back to school. So there was a lot of nights where she was at school late, and I have a lot of memories of cooking with my dad. And I feel like my dad was like when we would cook together, like I feel like my mom, it is what it is when you're a mom raising kids, like you kind of like fall into like a routine, like you cook the same things, you do things the same way, just like simplicity, you know?
Yeah.
But with like my dad, like he would be like a little bit more adventurous, and so that was always I think that's kind of like what opened my mind a little bit more. I'm like, oh, like cool, yeah, like you can like get super creative with this.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all probably pretty similar. I think, I mean, I grew up in a couple places around the country until I ended up in Arizona, but I don't know that necessarily influenced the food. My mom just mainly made, you know, casseroles were like the big thing. I feel like it was you can have a million different kinds of casseroles, you know, just burgers and hot dogs, whatever, you know, just whatever whatever mom made, that's what we were eating, you know.
Casseroles were big.
I mean, yeah, I think the 90s were just the age of casserole. I mean, 80s as well, but I don't know, it's just like the thing to do.
Sometimes you crave a good casserole.
It is delicious.
You do.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom always liked to cook, and then she later in life went to cooking school and got more into like desserts and stuff. Like she'd always make like desserts like when we were kids and stuff, but after she went to school, like she would make them, and they were always good, but we weren't in the home by then, so we never got to enjoy that stuff. But But for the most part, it's always just her cooking, and she was kind of one to put stuff together, didn't really follow particular recipes, though she's got a million cookbooks.
I think you're selling your mom short a little bit, because I've had your mom's food and
it's pretty dope.
She is very, especially when it comes to her, whatever you want to call it, pastries, sweets. Like, your mom is like light years ahead of pretty much every other mom out there as far as what she can do. So
yeah, I think she deserves some additional credit.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be upset when she hears this replay, because
she's a great cook. But when she was going to Le Cordon Bleu school, I was a junior, so I mean.
But I feel like she knew before she went there. I remember, like, I feel like even when I was like younger in middle school or high school, like, your mom would make some pretty cool stuff.
I'm not saying she's a bad cook. She's a great cook, but day to days for dinners and stuff, it wasn't as fancy. So
I guess she just loved like Colby and I, and
yeah, she probably gave us better stuff than she gave you.
Right.
She wanted you guys to like her. No, but I don't think that there was any, particular food background. She always liked to try new things, but it usually just kind of came back to good old American food for the most part. But like Max is saying, as we grow up, we try new stuff, right? And I kind of think that the world, in a way, also evolved, right? We started to have international foods become more commonplace just in the restaurants around town. It wasn't all just American chain restaurants. So I think that just kind of began to evolve our tastes naturally. I don't know, mine at least. I would see a fun looking restaurant and go and try it, right? But and even if it weren't the regular grill or barbecue place, right? But speaking of how our tastes have evolved, how do you guys cook now? Or do you cook? What do you cook? Who cooks? Max, take it away.
It depends. I think during the week, Emily probably does more of the cooking than I do, and I feel like I do a lot more of the cooking on the weekends. I get pretty adventurous. Like, a couple years ago, Emily bought me a pasta maker for my birthday, and so since then, like, I make homemade pasta probably most weekends. And so I think once you make your own pasta from scratch, you're like, well, shoot, like, I'm not going to like dump a jar of like Prego on this thing. Like, it's got, like, I'm going to make my own sauce. And so like the commitment just keeps escalating. So I feel like I get pretty adventurous there. But really what I've really found to love over the last few years, like, I really, really like to bake. Something about, and I think it's because baking is really challenging. Like, I'll never forget the first time I tried to make chocolate chip cookies. Like, total like man thing to do. Like, Emily was like, I want chocolate chip cookies one night, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll make you them. So I like look up a recipe, I look at the ingredients. I literally dumped all the ingredients into a KitchenAid and turned it on, mixed them together, and then my cookies didn't come out well. And I was like totally baffled by this, and I was like, well, did you like follow the instructions? I was like, no, I just like chucked them all in there and mixed them together. She's like, no, like, baking's like science. Like, you have to like be like very methodical about how you do all this stuff. So now, like, I've really found a love for that. And by the way, I have recently perfected the art of the chocolate chip cookie. I have like a patented foolproof strategy that makes it take twice as long, but once you go down this path, there's no turning back. But I really like making bread. Something like, I love kneading bread. There's something about it that's just like therapeutic to me. In fact, like, I go crazy because like the internet's always like suggesting like different like baking videos to me on YouTube and things like that. And there's always like no knead bread recipes. Like, I don't want a no knead bread recipe. That's worthless to me. That's like half the fun of making bread. So
yeah. I took a cooking class in college, and we made pasta, and there is just something different about real homemade pasta versus boxed pasta, for sure. Like, I mean, it's night and day, and it was delicious. So
Yeah.
I need to get into that.
You should. Yeah, it's actually like, and the more you do it, like, it actually doesn't take me as long. But I think like the thing that I like about getting adventurous with that stuff is like, if I mean, like, I could sit here all day and tell you all like my horror stories about baking or like making pasta and stuff like that. But that's like part of the fun of it is like, it's like those lessons are burned into your brain. You're like, oh, I'll never make that mistake again. So, and then you feel like once you get good at it, I don't know, I feel like it's very fulfilling to me.
No, I mean, it's fun. It is like science. It's like a puzzle sometimes, and it's fun, putting it together and trying new things. Colby, what about you?
I find it discouraging. I have kids that are 7 and 4, and I'll slave away on a meal and they won't eat it. So I get no fulfillment.
I've been there.
Well, it's not. I don't. Kidding. The fulfillment is me enjoying it. I don't know. Well, whatever. Yeah, I'm sure that will be frustrating.
You guys are intense. I don't do that much. The most baking I do is with a bread machine. So I'll make bread every couple weekends with the bread machine. But I have to do it gluten-free because Brooke can't have gluten, so there's a little added measure of difficulty.
Learning how to bake like gluten-free, I don't know, like maybe that would make it. I wonder how hard that would be to like do that yourself. Maybe you could
It's
get
different.
If you got really good at it, Colby, you could make some really killer gluten-free bread or something.
Yeah, I've made some good gluten-free bread. I've gotten that down in the bread maker at least. But so that's my bakingness there.
Don't sell yourself short. I mean, you still got to get the ingredients, and I mean, you still got to make the dough and get it all. I mean,
or you buy the box and just dump it into the bread machine.
No, because they don't make those in the gluten-free.
They don't.
So
They don't. I just assumed that they did.
Maybe they do. King Arthur might make some, but I've never used it. So
well, it doesn't matter anymore right now because you can't find it. So
that's true. We have a bunch of gluten-free flour on hand that is our emergency stock that we've dug into. So anyway, yeah, the bread is pretty good. Other than that, I usually Brooke's a really good cook, so I only cook when she's like dying because she's had to deal with the kids all day and I have to take over. So I usually just end up cooking super basic stuff. I'm usually the fried guy, so anything I cook I like fry.
That's nice.
Get the oil going on the stove and make like sweet and sour chicken, stuff like that. So
yeah,
I've never really gotten into frying, so that that in and of itself like seems like a whole and that in and of itself doesn't sound easy to me. Like it seems like a pain. So kudos.
It's not. Yeah, it's kind of hard. It makes a mess, but
yeah,
it's fun. It tastes good. Yeah, that's really me. And then most nights I'll just throw a frozen pizza in the oven and ring the bell for the kids to come eat.
There you go. That's good. I try to be adventurous. I think my wife hates it, but because here's the problem here. See, Max, you've honed in on your craft of pasta and breads, and I try something one time.
Yeah, and then you
and then my wife hates it, or the kids hate it, and then, like Colby said, it discourages me, and so I don't bother going back to try and refine it, even though I thought it was delicious most of the time.
Because then you're wasting ingredients, right? And they're like,
exactly.
don't use my good stuff for your junk food.
Yeah, don't make that again. Nobody liked it. Yeah, and then I cry to myself in my room. So. But I do try. I mean, I do try to mix it up here and there. I don't know. It's hit and miss with the kids. Sometimes I was just like, I'm tired of making you peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, so I made them a few different variety of peanut butter and jelly, like put on tortillas and rolled up like sushi and stuff. They love that. That was a hit. So anyway, it's fun to try new things. I'll just say that. And I try new cuisines and stuff here and there. Some work, some don't. But I think it's fun to try to just experiment. I will say this. I generally cook by recipes when I am cooking, whereas my wife can just start throwing stuff together. I don't know how she does it, but just throws, she knows the taste she's going for and how to get there. And for me, it has to be a lot more calculated and written down. So anyway, when we cook, it's fun to do. Sometimes we just give the kids their little food and then we go and buy food ourselves. But
we do that too.
Yep. Parents. Life of a parent.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Any other thoughts on classy food conversation? Anything fun? Anything the audience should try?
I think it is fun to just experiment and I've done that a couple times where I don't have a specific taste I'm going for, but I think I can picture it in my head and be like, I think I've seen something that looks like this at a restaurant or something or in a magazine or whatever, and I'm going to try and create it and think about what would be good in it. And I've done that a couple times and it's turned out okay and it's turned out awful sometimes, but it's fun. I mean, if you have time and ingredients, picture something in your mind and take a stab at it. It's kind of fun.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say everyone try to make pasta at some point. It'll change your life. But although I would say the few times I tried to make pasta, I didn't have the equipment, and it is kind of, you can do it without the equipment. You can try rolling out your dough with a rolling pin, but I had a hard time getting it thin enough, and then it kind of got gummy. But I highly recommend it. It's fun. Your friends will think you're awesome. And it's really, after you do it a few times, it's really not too difficult. But the other thing that's helped me a lot with cooking is I feel like I spend way more time watching cooking videos than the average human being, probably way too much time. So I watch a fair amount of Food Network, but even on YouTube, there's a ton of really good stuff out there, and it's just they make it fun to watch, and you learn a ton by watching them. Probably my favorite YouTube cooking personality is a channel called Binging with Babish, and it's a guy who recreates dishes from
movies and stuff.
And TV, and it's and the thing I like about him is he makes a lot of mistakes as he's going through, but it's very quick and very punchy, but then the mistakes are all still in there, so you learn from his mistakes and it feels more authentic that way. So that's probably my favorite one. And then there's another really good one that's also fun that I would recommend is it's on the Bon Appetit channel, and there's this woman named Claire, and she's a gourmet pastry chef, but she'll recreate classic snack foods and make them gourmet versions. So last night I watched an episode and she was making gushers, which was just watching her do this just was giving me anxiety. It was just too much, but she has a really fun personality. She also makes tons of mistakes. It's all very trial and error. But I feel I learn a lot from people like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a deep YouTuber, food YouTuber or anything, but Gordon Ramsay has great
he's
tutorials
also great
on just simple stuff like how to sharpen your knives or how to make scrambled eggs. That's a big one that I use it from him.
Eggs, I feel are probably one of the harder things to really nail.
Yeah,
and he's and I've actually because I know he likes his scrambled eggs a bit more runny than I would have ever ventured into, but now I find myself being more, I have more of a preference for that style now too, which I would have never known were it not for him.
Soft boiling eggs, super hard skill to learn. I'm trying to perfect my soft boiled egg.
I think I've done soft boiled eggs. I think the internet's actually, and again, I haven't done it in a while, but I feel last time I tried doing it, the internet had a pretty good formula for how you're supposed to do it. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, it's you'd think it's super simple, and it is. I mean, it's only a few steps, but you make one mistake and they come out wrong.
But Gordon Ramsay is really good. I love how Gordon Ramsay is he focuses on everything being very simple and on his what was this show, Kitchen Nightmares. I've seen a few clips of it. I watch a lot of YouTube. I've seen a few clips of it on YouTube where he just tears these eccentric arrogant chefs apart, because it's dude, just go simple, don't overcomplicate it.
No, absolutely. My one tip or takeaway would be, and I don't know if this is even necessary, I think for me it's helpful because I do find myself experimenting with new recipes, but I would say just stock up on your spices, because I hate going into a recipe like that. I really want to try that. That sounds really cool. And then there's like a couple spices I don't have, and then I'm like, okay, how could I maybe substitute? But I would just try and get those basic ingredients and see if get the ingredients and see what recipes you can make once you have all those ingredients. All right, cool. Next, we will jump into the trashy conversation about food.
Woo-hoo.
And this isn't exactly trashy. It's just, it is what it is. But I thought, let's break down some fast food restaurants and then some mid-tier restaurants. So that would be like your kind of sit down, where you could sit down, like a Chipotle or something, or a Pay Away, or you can also take it out pretty easily. And then the last category is like a full-fledged sit down. I just thought, let's go through and pick our top 3, discuss why there are top 3 in each of those categories, and then if there's any other exciting restaurants that don't fit into those categories, let's discuss those. So let's kick it off with the trashiest of them all, the fast food. Oh, and because I know our audience reaches far and wide, I figured let's limit this to chain restaurants that most people know about.
Oh,
right. Yeah, okay. But just because Lindy's on 4th in Tucson, not everyone's going to know, and that's not going to apply to everybody. So let's try and frame it in chain restaurants, and I'll kick it off. Fast food, near and dear to my heart. So I thought for top 3, Popeyes is probably one of my favorites.
I've never been to Popeyes. Fun fact. Never.
You're missing.
I love Popeyes.
Oh,
so good. Those chicken sandwiches.
Yep. And I will say this. Don't overlook product placement in movies, because in Little Nicky, Adam Sandler's Little Nicky, he's always going around eating Popeyes. And I thought, what is this? This Popeyes. And I tried it, and I fell in love. It was
Rush Hour 2. I don't like my chickens live. I like them dead and deep fried. You ever heard of Popeyes?
There you go. So now with fast food, I couldn't quite decide, and I kind of broke it up into a little bit of categories. I mean, with Popeyes is Chick-fil-A, both great chicken restaurants. You can't go wrong, right? I mean, I think between the sandwiches, Popeyes wins for me as far as chicken sandwiches go. But Chick-fil-A, you can pretty much get anything there and just have a great day. So next, Five Guys / Culver's. Kind of good burger restaurants in general.
I would have put Five Guys in more of like the fast casual, Jordan.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Oh my goodness. Well, I guess it probably should. All right, maybe we'll throw a little caveat in. If it does not have a drive-through, then it would be mid-tier. All right, fine.
Okay. So Culver's, though, they have a drive-through, right?
Culver's would definitely work.
Yep, and they're good. I mean, it's a high, quote unquote, high-end burgers, which I think are really good. Their shakes are delicious. Lastly, is the.
I feel like you've already got your 3. Didn't you say Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, and Culver's? Isn't that 3?
They're grouped together.
No, you can't group. You've got to
I'm
have
grouping.
3.
I'm grouping.
You can't say 3 cuisines. You've got to have 3 restaurants.
Well, I did. This is my topic. I'll do what I want. Last is the trashiest, which is Taco Bell and McDonald's. Taco Bell is just an age-old classic, and everybody takes a big dump on McDonald's, but man, they are consistent and they are good through and through in my book. So anyway, that's my fast food picks. Who's next?
Go for it, Colby.
Go, Max. Okay, I'll go.
Wait, no, you go. You go.
All right, I'm going. Best fast food in the world, In-N-Out. This is non-negotiable. It is In-N-Out. In-N-Out Burger is the bomb. The fresh ingredients, the toasted buns, the spread. It doesn't get any better than a double-double for me.
Consistent. That's another great consistent. Right?
Yeah. Very consistent. Always.
Very well run.
Yep. And they all wear masks and gloves right now, so safe. Anyway, love In-N-Out. We used to live not far from an In-N-Out, and it was really bad for our health because you could smell it like from our driveway.
I know that smell does like carry for a pretty wide radius. And
it pulls you out, or pulls you in. I mean, yeah. Then my next one would have to be Taco Bell. I mean, we basically lived at Taco Bell in high school. It was like the greatest thing ever. I love Taco Bell. And just like the classic 99-cent menu, just a bean burrito with green sauce. It's unbeatable.
But I don't know. I haven't read up on the Taco Bell news lately, but they must have gotten a new chief of food or something, because their menu is terrible now. Like, it's so boring.
It is.
They've cut out so many options. Like, I don't know.
Well, I think the problem is they've tried to up their prices, but keep like some really cheap stuff on there. But the cheap stuff is basically just like a tortilla and sour cream now. Yeah. There's like no substance to it. So they have like cheap stuff, but it's super lame. They have some of their old classics on there, but they're fewer and far between these days.
Their margins just have to be like razor thin. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking of like that bean burrito. Maybe it doesn't cost that much to make, but you think about all the overhead for running one of those restaurants, the people you have to pay, you have to ship the food out there. Like, can't imagine they're making a lot of money on those bean burritos that they're...
Yeah, which is why they go off on the crazy other things.
Well, that's what I like about them. They used to have like 4 crazy things at one time, like that they're throwing out there at the same time. Now it's like one every once in a while.
That's a good point. Like, I used to be
a box.
So amazed with Taco Bell because I was just like, who are these people that just like sit in their test kitchen and like crank out millions of iterations of like the same 5 ingredients, and like they're all like kind of interesting and funny, and they have great advertising. But yeah, I feel like it has kind of died down recently.
And some of their old classics are no more that you can't really get anymore, like the grilled stuffed burrito, the double decker taco. You know.
I have to tell you guys this. So Emily saw some video on YouTube where these guys recreated like the Hall of Fame of Taco Bell's menu that doesn't live on anymore. And like in the early 90s or the late 80s, just the thought of this just sounds awful, but they had like a seafood salad that they used to sell, and it's just like, can you imagine ordering a seafood salad from Taco Bell? Just like, no, I'd run. But
awful. Awful. Anyway, Taco Bell is an instant classic. You can still roll up and get a bean burrito and a classic tostada, and it's on point. And my last one, I put Chick-fil-A. I love Popeyes too, but I like Chick-fil-A. We end up going to Chick-fil-A more often. I think probably because the kids eat there better, and my wife can't eat at Popeyes because it's all fried. But I feel like Popeyes has better chicken, and their chicken is just super good. But there's more variety at Chick-fil-A. They have more sauces. You can get the grilled healthy style chicken, and everything tastes super fresh. They have really good dipping sauces. You feel like you're not going to be destroying your stomach when you go to Chick-fil-A as opposed to like a Taco Bell night. So yeah, those are my 3. Arby's being an honorable mention because I was on a real Arby's kick there for a while, but I kicked the habit.
Cool.
I have to go on a quick food tangent, real quick. Buckle up, everybody. So Morgan Spurlock from Super Size Me, he came out with another documentary. I forget the name of it, but he goes about making his own chicken restaurant, and he sets up a chicken farm. And he has to come up with all these recipes for his restaurant. And he goes around with some entree making company that makes all these like entrees for different fast food chains. Anyway, they go to Chick-fil-A as to evaluate competition, and the woman from this company points out that they have MSG. They've got monosodium glutamate in their food, and she like points it out as like a negative. Wow.
Totally safe, by the way, from what I hear. I don't actually know the
exactly,
science, but
it is completely safe.
Yeah,
I dug into it, and it's actually a 5th type of taste that your tongue can sense. It falls under the umami category.
Right.
And anyway, very interesting. I went into a very deep YouTube rabbit hole about MSG and how it is perfectly fine for you, and don't fall into that trap.
But doesn't it make you fat?
No, it doesn't. It's just
it doesn't make
salt.
you fat.
No, it's just the salt.
Okay.
Has known a very, very slim amount of people might experience some tingling in their throat or something like that, but completely safe. Anyway, Max.
Well, mine is first MSG. I learned about that from binging with Babish, by the way, which I had no idea. And I didn't even know if I knew what MSG was until I kind of went down a similar rabbit hole. I just felt like it has such a negative connotation with it, but I've heard the same thing. I'm going to go quick through mine because unfortunately I'm super boring and I literally have the exact same top 3 as Colby. So in no particular order, but I love Chick-fil-A. Same reasons you guys have outlined. It's fresh. It's good. The customer service, by the way, is fantastic. What are those people doing over there that they always have like really polite and professional people?
No one ever says you're welcome. It's always my pleasure.
That is actually one knock I have against Chick-fil-A is the my pleasure thing, and sometimes they say it too many times. Like I'm at the drive-thru, and it's like I can't say anything without you saying my pleasure back to me. It's like, come on, let's cool with the my pleasure.
Just be real.
Yeah, just be real with me. But they are very polite, professional. It's consistent, very well run fast food establishment. I love Taco Bell. All the classic reasons. I love the bean burrito. I love the quesadillas. I was a huge fan of the double-decker taco, which I'm unclear if that still lives on or not. I feel like I was able to get it recently, but I've also heard rumblings of that disappearing. But that's great. The chalupa's great. Chicken burrito's great. Who remembers the quesarito? Whew. That thing.
I remember the commercials.
I had a couple of those. I'll never get another one again though. They're pretty vile. Nachos are good, and then the Doritos tacos are actually pretty good, pretty interesting. So
I do like those.
Yeah, they actually are pretty good. So there's a lot of variety on that menu. I haven't been to Taco Bell in a while, so I need to go back and see what Jordan's talking. Oh, and I absolutely love, but you got to eat it like right there in the moment. But any of the burritos with the spicy Fritos in them, get a little crunch in there. But you got to eat them right when that burrito comes up because all the steam is all packaged up in the burrito. Those Fritos will get soggy and you'll lose the experience. So fun little.
When we lived together right next to that Taco Bell on 9th. Yeah, we'd get those all the time.
Well. That and also when we lived together, and all of our millions of listeners out there, keep me honest here, but I feel like Taco Bell, the way I remember this story, and I could be totally wrong, is that Taco Bell was sued because their meat wasn't actually meat, or it was like only like 88% meat. So then they started selling, so they were like, yeah, it's 88% meat, 12% family recipe, which like, let's be honest, like the fact that it's 88% meat is pretty high from what you might expect. From Taco Bell meat, so I'm totally fine with it.
And the rest is like soy, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just soy, which again,
yeah, it's just like tofu.
Totally filler product or something like that. But they were selling Crunch Wraps for 88 cents for like 2 weeks or something like that, which usually costs like $2.50. So you got a bunch of starving college students that are all loading up on Crunch Wraps. Fun times. And then my last one is In-N-Out. In fact, it's funny. My wife is a huge In-N-Out fan. I like to give her a hard time that it's not actually as good as she thinks it is, but it actually is really, really good. It's delicious. I love it. In my opinion, as far as like a true fast food burger place goes, it's the best, which pains me because now I'm going to jump into my honorable mentions real quick, which would be Whataburger. I love Whataburger. I'm sorry it couldn't be included in the top 3, but the reason why I put In-N-Out ahead of Whataburger is I feel like I feel gross, a little bit more gross after I eat Whataburger. Like it's a heavier burger. It just feels a bit more greasy than.
Makes it delicious. Oh.
It is delicious. It is amazing. It is, and again, I think Whataburger actually is a very well run fast food establishment as well. Like everyone's always polite. It's on point. And I like that Whataburger has more like southwestern kind of like chilies and stuff in their menu, which is really good. And And then the other one that I really like, which I could not agree with you more, Jordan, is McDonald's. I literally cannot stand when someone tells me that they don't like McDonald's. I was like, there's no such thing as not liking McDonald's. Like, it is.
The funny part is too, because if you like catch them on a like night when they're like staying up late at 1 a.m, you know they're going to McDonald's. Even though they say like it's so gross, I never eat there. They're going there at 1 a.m.
It's so good. And the nice thing about like McDonald's is like, I feel like I eat the most McDonald's when I'm like traveling internationally, and I'm like, you know, like I remember I was in Japan for a couple weeks, a couple years ago, and like that's one thing about America is like I feel like we have more diverse cuisine, and so like and I think we're accustomed to like eating lots of different foods. But when I was in Japan, I was like, shoot, like I just need a freaking burger, because like, and I love Japanese food, like I can eat sushi and ramen and all that stuff. But after like 2 weeks, I was like, dude, I just need McDonald's right now. And it was so nice just to get a cheeseburger and know exactly what it was going to taste like. And it is delicious. So, end of rant. There's my top 3.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I don't think that's a bad rant about McDonald's. I think, and this is silly, but I just love how innovative they are. The way that their soda machine picks up the cup and dumps the ice in and like fills it up the right amount. I mean, they were the first to do that. I think.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
At the drive-thru, you gotta watch for it. At the drive-thru, people don't fill up your soda if you get a soda. It's a machine that does it all. It's pretty exciting. Anyway, Max, let's go back the other way. Why don't you kick off the mid-tier? These are places that don't have drive-thrus, but you could easily take out to go.
Alrighty.
Or sit down.
So the first, and then again, no particular order on these. But Cafe Rio, for our millions of listeners out there, they're more around like the southwest of the country. We've got a couple of them here in Phoenix. Do you guys have Cafe Rio in Tucson, Jordan?
We do not.
You have, but Costa. You have Costa Vida.
Yeah, Costa.
Which I think I don't know if I could pick out the difference between the two if you put them side by side. Maybe I could.
I don't care. Well, there are definitely people out there that are staunch one or the other, and I just think they're ridiculous.
I do too. Well, Colby's one of those people.
I know, but he can't defend himself. But I will poke him on this, and we'll see what he has to say. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Cafe Rio, I love the sweet pork salad. I think it's delicious. So for the listeners who don't know what Cafe Rio is, like it's a total Americanized Mexican fast casual establishment. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's actually really good. Like I don't know if they're making their own tortillas there. Do you know? But like the tortillas are really, really good. I think they might be making them there.
They've got the little press.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make their own. It's basically like Chipotle. It's like the same setup as Chipotle, right? You will go up to the bar and you order your fixins, and
it's definitely more complex than Chipotle, though. I feel like as far as like options go, like they definitely have more. Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit fancier than Chipotle, but you're 100% right. It's very similar to Chipotle, but it is.
It's more of a Baja taste,
right?
So to speak.
That's a good way of putting it. But I feel like
Chipotle.
Costa maybe leans in a little bit more on the Baja, but maybe that's just their marketing that's warped my brain.
Yeah, I think so. So we were just making fun of people that have a preference between Costa Vida and Cafe Rio. What are your thoughts, Colby?
Costa Vida is so much better. So much better.
See, what's funny is I usually hear people say Cafe Rio is so much better, but Colby is the only that I know.
He's a contrarian.
Okay, so there's only 2 reasons why. First, it was the first girl I dated after my mission, worked at Costa Vida, and she had season tickets to the BYU football games. But because she worked at Costa Vida, she had to go serve food in the games, so I got to take all of her tickets. So that makes Costa Vida better. And also because Cafe Rio puts gluten in their meat, so we can't ever eat there. So I always eat at Costa.
Maybe Cafe Rio is better than...
That's why it tastes so much better.
No, I mean, I like them both the same. I think they're both
They are the same.
Delicious.
Well, the one difference that does make Cafe Rio better is on the pork salad, or probably any other salads. I only get pork. Is they put the cheesy tortilla at the bottom.
Yes, that is
the melted cheese.
That is a killer. I love that. And yeah, the melted cheese. They always ask me like, "Do you want to like have melted cheese?" I'm like, "Yes, please, man. Put some melted cheese on my tortilla. It's so good."
Duh.
The funny thing about that sweet pork salad is like, usually when you go to a restaurant, you're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get a salad." Like you're thinking you're doing yourself a favor. You're thinking you're eating healthy. I've looked it up, my friends, and all of our listeners out there, fact check me. It's in
1,800 calories.
How many?
Let's guess.
I'm pretty sure it's more like 1,300 or 1,400. Which is a ton if you think about it for a salad. But I mean, the thing about the sweet pork salad though is it's like the best of both worlds. It's like you get some extra veggies, but you still got tortilla there, so you could like. And at the end, after I finish like the bulk of my salad, then I'll roll up like the remnants. So then it turns into a nice little wrap, and that tortilla is just so dang good. Man, I'm just getting hungry thinking about this. I can't say enough good things about Cafe Rio and Costa Vida. They're just delicious. But those, I am allowed to put those two as one because they really are exactly the same. And Trace Lace cheesecake there, so good. Try it.
Never had any of their desserts.
Oh, dude, get some Trace Lace cheese. You'll love it. All right, so that's that's up there. Another place that I like there's quite a few of them around the country. At least I've had it in Virginia and I had it in Texas. I don't think they're here yet in Arizona, but there's this place called Bonchon. And they serve fried like Asian chicken, and they like double fry it, and this chicken is unbelievably crispy. It is so good, and you can get some that are a little bit, I can't even remember there's like two different flavors that are really good. Like one's like spicy and like one's like garlic wonderfulness. You can't go wrong with Bonchon chicken, so you must partake. And for my... Were you going to say something, Jordan?
I just said I never heard of it, but I'll try it if I see it.
Yeah, I don't think they're here in Arizona yet, so yeah, unfortunately, I'm not quite sure. But the last place, also predominantly in Utah and Arizona, I don't know where else exactly they are, but good old Zupa's. So this is like a soup salad sandwich place. But there's only one thing you need to know about Zupa's. When you go in there, you get a bowl of half tomato, half cauliflower soup, mix it together. It is the best soup you'll ever have. And then you get a turkey bacon avocado sandwich, and you just dip that sandwich in the soup. It is a nice little meal, so you're welcome.
I'll have to try that.
Try it.
I usually just get the lobster bisque.
Me too. The roasted red pepper and lobster. Oh no, that's different. I get the roasted red pepper and lobster.
Try mixing that tomato and cauliflower soup together. You'll enjoy it.
Done. All right, my turn?
Yep.
Okay. Middle grade, fast casual. I'm sure you guys have mentioned Chipotle.
No, we have not yet. Jordan hasn't.
I love Chipotle, and by association, similarly, Moe's burritos.
I've never had Moe's. Is it the same?
They have them back east. Yeah, it's very, very similar, but just a little bit different ingredients.
All the time.
Yeah, I love Moe's. Moe's was the best. And Moe's gives you, maybe they don't anymore. I haven't been in a while, but they gave you bottomless chips too. Anytime you bought a burrito, so that was awesome. But I just love the fresh ingredients in the burritos. It always is. Cafe Rio, Costa Vida are really good. Sometimes their sauces are just a little much for me, and I just like, a Chipotle burrito that just has salsa and good ingredients. So they're up there for me.
Just be sure to stock up on your Chipotle.
Chipotle. Yep. Don't want any... Anyway. Yes. Blaze Pizza, or really any of those custom pizza places, but Blaze is my favorite. Because, it's fun to be able to go and customize your own pizza and get whatever you're feeling at the moment. So I like that. And then I put Cut Bop on here. They probably don't have that other places.
What is it?
So apologize. It's a Korean place. It started as a food truck here in Utah. It's kind of all over now.
Bibimbap, or what's their thing?
Cupbop, and they do, it's like rice and noodles and lettuce and cabbage, and then some meats and spicy sauces in a bowl. It's pretty good. I like it a lot.
Nom, nom, nom.
Yep, love me some Cupbop.
Sounds good.
Sweet. All right. So I said Cafe Rio or Costa Vida as well. But we've talked about that enough. Dickey's barbecue. So delicious.
I never ate at Dickey's. Ours went out of business.
Well,
maybe I'm like gonna be like the McDonald's person here, where I'm like too snobby for Dickey's. Dickey's is fine.
It's fine for
what it is.
It's good barbecue. You walk in, you have your pick of plenty of barbecue. You walk out. It's good because I mean, let's face it, there's not many barbecue restaurants just hanging out like where you can do that. Yeah, they're usually sit down places.
Do you guys have R&R barbecue down there, or is that just a Utah thing?
No.
Oh, it's kind of like that, but it's kind of a classier Dickey's. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
that doesn't take much.
You shut your mouth. You get free ice cream every time you go into Dickey's. Okay.
Oh, so it's like Golden Corral.
Yeah. Do you remember when we went to Golden Corral in college? I think I might have been the one who championed that idea. I was like, guys, let's go to Golden Corral. I mean, come on. We can get some sirloin steak, some fried chicken, some mashed potatoes, and just thinking like, it can't be that bad. And man, was I wrong. It really can be that bad. It was
classic horrific. Buffet.
You can't go wrong with a buffet.
Yes,
Chuckarama,
you can. Apparently you can.
Ryan's.
Yeah. Lastly, Five Guys, apparently, because that's not fast food. So, Five Guys. It's good.
Great.
It's better than In-N-Out. It's good. So.
How dare you, sir?
Yeah, see, when my wife hears this, she'll freak out because I always joke with that. I mean,
look,
and she gets mad because you can't compare them because of this conversation we're having right now. Like, one is like pure fast food, one is more fast casual. I feel like Five Guys, you feel a million times more gross after eating Five Guys than you do In-N-Out.
It's a grease bomb. But I love Five Guys too.
So do I.
Their burgers are really good.
And those Cajun fries.
Fries are delicious. They put In-N-Out's fries to shame.
Yes.
For sure. And you can customize your burger however you want. I mean, I know there's a secret menu at In-N-Out, but
I don't need to customize my burger.
That's the thing about In-N-Out is you don't have to customize it. Their recipe is proven and amazing. But if you want to customize, Five Guys is really good at that. My one problem is that my bun disappears super fast at Five Guys. Yeah. I don't know what happens, but it like starts to disintegrate.
It's just butter, man. It's just
it's got to be what it is.
Very hands.
Yep. All right. Last but not least, top 3 sit-down restaurants. Colby, why don't you kick us? Or no, yeah, Colby. Sure. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what these are. I have kids, so I haven't been to one of these in forever. But if I had to choose, speaking of like, and see, I kind of made my list here before I knew we were only doing chains. So
it's all right. Whatever.
I feel like, before you jump into it, Colby, I feel like our generation is going to kill chain sit-down restaurants because
I don't know. COVID is going to kill independent restaurants.
That's true. It might kill the chains too. Who knows?
Yeah. They might be all we have left, though. Anyway, so Red Lobster is dope.
See, I thought about putting Red Lobster down as a joke. I can't believe you actually like Red Lobster. Besides the cheddar biscuits. Like, what? You like Red Lobster? Ugh.
The biscuit? You don't like the biscuits?
No, that's what I'm saying. Besides the cheddar biscuits, like, what else is there to love at that restaurant?
I mean, it's just standard seafood.
Does it matter when you have the cheddar biscuits?
No. Yeah. I mean, the cheddar, don't get me wrong. The cheddar biscuits are almost enough to propel it very high.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because every time I go to Red Lobster, I always go when they're doing like the unlimited shrimp, and then like I'll have like way too many shrimp dishes, and then I'll feel gross, and then I'm like, I don't want to eat Red Lobster.
Yeah, I always get like the what is it? The clam bake dishes that come in the big pot. It has like the shrimp, lobster, and scallops, and it's pretty good.
I love scallops.
So big fan of Red Lobster. Tucanos, which I think they only have here in Utah.
But you could say like Fogo de Chao or something like that is probably more common.
Yeah, Brazilian barbecue meat place. So that's fun. You know, lots of different varieties of meat. Really good salad bar. That's always a fun time. The garlic sirloin, super good.
Always on point.
Yep. And then lastly, I would just say like a good sushi place. There's a place here called Wild Ginger. It's a one-off place that's pretty good that Brooke and I go to if we ever can get someone to watch the kids. So yeah, any good sushi places, we're really into that. Which in Utah, you know, there's not a ton of good sushi places.
Yeah, there's Sushi Ya. I remember
Sushi Ya places.
I remember we went there.
Yep.
Top notch. I would say that, and it's not a particular restaurant, but those fun like hole in the wall sushi places, you know, that's a category in and of itself, which is good. I think I really love sushi, but I don't bother to learn anything about it. Like there's all these different cuts from the tuna, and they're named different things. I don't bother learning it. I just eat it.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I just go to sushi places and I ask them what's good or whatever I think looks good, and it's usually good. So that I agree. That falls into one of mine, and then pretty top quality as far as chain restaurants go is Fleming's, which we rarely go to, but it's delicious. It's always good. Like I've never gone and then been disappointed with my meal, ever. Even if I'm trying something new that is an experimental choice, even though they don't have a huge menu, but everything's always on point. The chocolate lava cake, fantastic. It's always good bread. It's great place.
Huh? I don't think we have one of those here. I've never been.
I don't know. I'd be surprised. I mean, you might not. But I would think you have.
Oh, I just looked it up. There's one in Salt Lake, but none in Utah Valley. So
that makes sense.
I could head up.
Yeah, I mean, anniversary or something. But... It is, but you know, celebrations. You go there. It's great.
Okay.
And then classic chain restaurant would be Outback. It's always pretty darn consistent. Like it's. Why are you laughing?
I don't know. I'm a total tool over here laughing at Red Lobster and Outback. I mean, gotta love the bloomin' onion at Outback. I don't know. I feel like you can't put.
Yes.
I guess you can't have Fleming's and Outback like in your top three. Like one is clearly like light years better than the other one.
But they're not, because, and here's why. At Outback, I love steaks, and Outback, you always get a perfectly cooked steak every single time. There are very few restaurants where you can say that, where you're going to consistently get good quality steaks.
You cannot say it about Texas Roadhouse, because they are very inconsistent.
They're all over the map over there with the peanut. They can't keep track because the peanuts are falling on people's food.
And because the music is so stinking loud, they don't even hear your order.
Loud, but the bread with the cinnamon butter, you can't go wrong.
Well, that
is pretty good. That is pretty
true.
Good.
But I don't order many things on the Outback menu unless it's a steak, and you get a salad, you get a perfectly cooked steak, good to go. All right, Max. Let's see what Max has to come up with, everybody.
Well, I came up with mine before I knew about this chain restaurant. Even if I had known about the chain restaurant rule, I would have been too
the ones that we've never heard of.
Yeah.
We've never heard of them, so they're bound to be fantastic.
Some of these you might have heard of. Franklin's Barbecue. I feel like a lot of people have heard of.
Come on. They can't even get people into the door. They're standing outside.
It is very good. I woke up at I can't remember what time we got there. I think we got there at 7 in the morning. Hung out for 3 or 4 hours to get to the front of the line, and I'll never forget this guy. The brisket he was working on had just finished off right before I got to the front of the line, and he pulls out this brand new brisket wrapped in paper. rolls it out onto the table, and this thing was just quivering looking at it. Like, it felt like you could have just, like, coughed, and this thing would have just exploded into a million pieces. It was that tender, juicy. So that Franklin's Barbecue, there's a lot of hype around it. Some people say it's the best in the country.
I need to. I bought that masterclass thing. I need to do that, guys. I haven't done it yet.
Do you have a smoker?
I do. I just got one, so
a
like
Traeger?
I need to like. No, not a Traeger, but I need to see what he can teach me.
Yeah, he's also I think the masterclass is your best bet. Have you seen? Did you ever see the movie Chef by Jon Favreau? I forget if I asked you this already.
I've saw bits and pieces of it. It's the one on Netflix, right? With that.
Well, he's got a show on Netflix based off of the movie, but Aaron Franklin shows up because he's actually in the movie, and the first season of the show is they kind of recreate some of the dishes from the movie. And anyway, so he actually goes through in the show like how he prepares and cooks a brisket, but it's definitely there's a lot of skill there, just like depending on your environment. It sounds complicated, like how hot or cold it is outside, how humid the air is. Like there's just like so many factors that I don't care to know.
I watched a masterclass advertisement with him. Mm-hmm. That's the extent of my knowledge, but it looked intense.
Yeah. But he seems like a pretty cool guy. I think he's pretty humble.
I just hope to learn a couple things from him.
Right.
We'll see.
If I ever pick up smoking, I think I'll just like hope to like put something out that's like semi-juicy, but I don't need to be as good as Aaron Franklin. But anyways, the barbecue there is really, really good. The only knock I really have, and I think it's kind of a compliment and a knock, but their barbecue sauces actually aren't really good, but the barbecue's so good you don't really want to taint it with sauce. So, yeah.
That's how I am with Outback steaks.
I don't put sauce. Who puts sauce on a steak?
I'm just kidding. I mean, I never do, but
I think Outback's on par. A1.
Outback.
I despise A1, but that's just me.
I don't like A1 either.
Yeah, it's just like, ugh. And I think like a good steak should be able to stand on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. It just.
Are you, Jordan? You dip it in your bloomin' onion sauce, which we all know the bloomin' onion is like the most unhealthy appetizer, maybe like one of the most unhealthy things you can order at a restaurant. Those things are like, but they are delicious. I'll give you that. Bloomin' onion is really good.
Yeah,
is it worse for you than like the sweet potato at Texas Roadhouse with the marshmallows and junk on it?
I'm pretty sure like the bloomin' onion I think is like close to 2,000 calories.
Oh wow.
I imagine there's gotta be like some Applebee's sampler platter or something.
Applebee's. It's funny. The last time I had Applebee's was with Colby. Actually, this was probably like 10 years ago, and it was
almost made my list.
So miserable that I was like, I swear I will never come back to another Applebee's ever again, and I haven't to this day. So, but maybe one day I'll go back to get some mozzarella sticks or something. Those are.
Yeah, some.
Just pop in for some mozzarella sticks.
Yeah, exactly. All right, number 2, Pizzeria Bianco. It's here in Phoenix. Jimmy Kimmel's actually like very close friends with like the owner. It is outstanding pizza. Highly recommend it. It's very, very good. So Pizzeria Bianco. You'll enjoy it. Jordan, you should come up and try it.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
And then number 3, I love a really
if you say
good
Olive Garden, so help me.
You know what? I will go to my grave saying an Olive Garden salad and breadsticks is one of the best meals you can have.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty darn good. The rest of the stuff on the menu, debatable. But the salad and breadsticks, I mean, they have perfected that formula and can't be improved on.
I bet there's MSG in it.
Probably.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, umami Italian flavors. I saw like a thing where I kind of get like annoyed with this. Like, I think it was Post Malone was on Jimmy Fallon, and like Jimmy Fallon had like never been to like Olive Garden, which I'm here talking trash about like chain sit-down restaurants, but I know them all well. I've eaten at them all many, many times, and like Jimmy had like never been to them. Like, come on, like just because you're rich doesn't mean you shouldn't know what Olive Garden is. I mean, it's just part of being an American, if you ask me. But
Italian. What's your last one?
My last one is I love a really, really good ramen house. I remember the first time like I had real ramen was like in the winter one time, and it just hit the spot. So I absolutely love a really good ramen house. I think the best bowl of ramen I've had was this place in DC called Dakaya. It's just delicious. I love some spicy ramen. They always have a perfectly cooked soft-boiled egg, Colby, and it just like kind of like soaks up the broth. And I just don't get how they make the broth so freaking flavorful. But yeah, on a cold winter's day, nothing hits the spot like a nice hot bowl of ramen. So
yeah, I like ramen. There's a good ramen place by my work. I can't remember what it's called though. Some Asian name.
Yeah, ramen is delicious. It's so good. So yeah, those are my 3.
We did it.
We did it, guys. Wow, this was a long one.
Yeah, it was. Anything else? Any other dessert places? No.
I could
EG's.
EG's, yeah. The watermelon special flavor. I'm thinking July.
Yeah, not many people know about EG's, I imagine.
Yeah, Tucson only.
But it is funny how there's like over a dozen EG's places in Tucson. Like
there's one in
dense.
Arizona City too. And that's like the farthest north they are.
It's good. If you don't know what it is, you're really missing out. Let me tell you.
The food is pretty basic, but the
food is basic, but whatever
the
you
slushy
want to
dessert drink is awesome.
Whatever an EG is, that thing is outstanding.
Alrighty. Well, any other food thoughts?
No.
I think we covered everything.
I think we did.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna run out and grab something.
I know. I'm hungry now. I'm gonna go eat some cereal.
Red Lobster. All right. Well, please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all at The Couchboard. And feel free to email us with topics you want to hear more about at thecouchboard@gmail.com. All right. Well, that was a fun conversation, everybody. Don't know what we'll talk about next, but it'll be something. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.